The NFL and the world of football has had some stuff pop up this weekend. All right. Now, some people are going to be pretty critical of my guy, Kayshon Boutte. You know, the Patriots rookie wide receiver who got arrested because he was placing bets while he was at LSU. Because apparently, like, if you make a couple of fake accounts when you're underage and you gamble, apparently that's a problem. And apparently, when you place 8,900 bets between April of 2022 and May of 2023, so let's call it 13 months, this guy made 8,900 bets in a 13-month span. And apparently when it's, you know, when at least 17 of those are on college football games and at least 6 of those are on LSU games that you played in, I mean, apparently that's a problem. Apparently. You know, and apparently, you know, when you win like over $500,000, but majority of that money is being used to make additional wagers, apparently that's an issue too. Now, I always thought that was called reinvesting. Okay, that's what I always thought, but maybe I've got a different understanding of the term. All right, so there, you know, Kayshon Boutte, there's been some criticism out there. Now, he didn't exactly hide his usernames for these other accounts. One of them, I believe, was Kayshon Boutte 7. The other one was Kayshon Boutte 01. You know, not a lot of differential there between his actual name. You know, you would think he would come up with a better alias. Maybe he's like me. He's upset that we didn't come up with Mike Vick's alias back in the day, which was Ron Mexico. That's always a good one. Big fan of Ron Mexico. You know, Lane Kiffin went with Joey Freshwater. You know, some of the great ones are taken. So maybe Kayshon Boutte's like, well, listen, all the good ones are taken. So I'll just go with Kayshon Boutte 001 as my, you know, alias to go ahead and place some wagers. So the guy's placing like 9,000 bets in a 13-month span. Now, does this mean he'll ever get to play football again? No. No, that's probably over. But you know what? I think we know what his passion is. All right, like I think it's like a kid who fights a lot when he's younger. You're like, God, what's his problem? Well, he's always getting in fights. Well, what do you want to do about it? I don't know. Put him in a boxing or an MMA class. Let him learn jiu-jitsu. It'll cool him down a little bit. All right, so I mean, listen, if that's his passion, that's his passion. So yeah, his NFL career is probably over. I get it. But you know what? You mean to tell me that guy couldn't run a sports book? You talk about a true love for the game. So again, a lot of people are going to be critical of this stuff. I am not. All right, I have been on the gambling front for years here at FSR. All right, we have done, I mean, whether it's live bets, live bet Jesus, who makes appearances here on Fox Sports Radio throughout the years. He's even got a Twitter account, or X, whatever you want to call it. Knox Locks. Like, I am in full support, so I'm not going to sit here and throw stones from a glass house at Kayshon Boutte. Right? I'm not doing that. But I can understand why the NFL and college football and sports is a little bit over the top when it comes to this stuff. You know, like this story about the Super Bowl, where the NFL, they've put in a new gambling policy for players participating in the Super Bowl. All right, it's pretty simple. If you are on either team in the Super Bowl this year in Vegas, you can't bet on anything. Right? So we're talking like anything at all. Not just the games. We're talking slot machines. We're talking anything. You can't bet on any of it. Now, this makes me want the Lions to advance to the Super Bowl just because of all the guys they had in their organization who got popped for gambling. I mean, you imagine Jameson Williams walking through a sports book if the Lions make the Super Bowl? Guy's going to go into convulsions. Like, it's like taking an alcoholic into a liquor store to buy pretzels. Why would you do that? Hey, man, could you run in there and get me like, a pack of Now and Laters? Run into where? Spike's Liquor Barn right there, right on the corner. You see it? It's right over there. Go to Spike's Liquor Barn, get me a pack of Now and Laters if you can. You think that's a good idea? Why wouldn't it be a good idea? I don't know. I'm an alcoholic. What do you think? It's like, you don't want to see Jameson Williams at the Super Bowl have to walk through a casino and not pull a lever? Like, not walk up and go, hey, psst, hey, give me $50 on Magic Murphy to show in the next race at Pimlico, if you can. Thanks. Like, you don't want to see that? I want to see it. Now, whether or not that's going to happen, again, you got to stick around for Knox Locks. But the point is, I get why the NFL is concerned from an optics standpoint that, hey, we don't want players who are participating in the game to gamble while they're there during the Super Bowl week. Okay, like, I get it. But there's a big difference between gambling on your own game and playing a penny slot machine. There just is. All right? I got news for you. If I could gamble on my own show, I would. I would. Because I don't have that discipline. But there's a big difference between me gambling on something that's my own and playing a slot machine. A big difference. Like, is anybody really going to give a rip? Is anybody going to care if one of these guys is playing a slot machine? Like, really? Like we're going to throw a fit if you're cruising through a casino and you see Sam Darnold playing a double dolphin slot machine or hitting the Wheel of Fortune spin. Really? Like, that's going to be an issue? Like, oh, that's a 2-game set for what? Throwing $20 in a slot machine and giving it a whirl for a couple of minutes? Who cares, dude? Worse things have happened in the Super Bowl. You don't think so? Ask Eugene Robinson. Eugene Robinson went out to get a Captain Hook at the Super Bowl and ended up with an undercover cop. That's an issue. That's a problem. A guy playing a slot machine or playing blackjack at one of the tables. Who's going to give a rip if Jake Moody is playing 3-card poker at a casino somewhere during Super Bowl week? Who cares? There's not enough cameras to see whether or not they venture into the sports book. We don't have enough cameras in Vegas. I got news for you. If you pick your nose and wipe it on a piece of furniture, they'll throw you out because somebody saw it from upstairs. You can't get away with anything. So I can understand why they're concerned, the optics and all that. This feels like a bit much. It's like COVID. You remember COVID? Come on, you remember COVID, right? You remember like all the things you had to do to protect yourself during COVID? You know, like some people were like wiping off their groceries with sanitizer wipes when they got home. You know, because like that's the concern. Hey, I don't want to get the coronavirus, so here, hand me some Perel. I'd like to shower the bag of Funyuns I just bought. Well, I just want to be safe. You know, like you start to look back at some of the things that people were doing back then, and you understood it. But upon further review, it's like, yeah, it's a bit much. You know, that's probably a bit much. I mean, maybe we didn't need to do that. You know, like I can understand washing your hands a lot, hey, even masking up. I get all that. But like, I mean, really? You're doing that? Like, I just think the NFL is going to look back on this week and go, yeah, that was a bit much. You know, like maybe it's not that big of a deal at all, whatsoever, on any level. If some backup tight end for one of these teams pulls a lever on a slot machine when he's walking through a casino. In fact, I'll tell you what, find me somebody who doesn't want to do that. You're walking. I mean, there's people who can't even get out of the airport in Vegas without gambling on the slot machines. So again, I get it, I understand it, but I think we're kind of overreacting a little bit to this whole thing. You know, I know there's been some scandals, but this feels like a bit much.